be required to share?
Hello and welcome. You're watching Express News, a show where we take you through the top news stories of the day. I'm MUKHERJEE. Let's get started. The recovery rate in India further improves. The case fatality rate continues to remain low. Due to three-pronged strategy of test, trace and treat, the fatality rate is continuously dropping in India. The recovery rate has crossed 73%, while the case fatality rate continues to remain low at 1.92%. Over 19 lakh people have now recovered from the virus in India. 57,937 recoveries were recorded yesterday, taking the cumulative total to 19,77,779. With this, the recovery rate currently stands at 73.18%. With nearly 9 lakh tests being conducted each day, the number of active COVID-19 cases in India stand at 6,73,166, which is 24.91% of the total cases reported so far. According to the Indian Council of Medical Research, 3,09,41,264 samples have been tested up to the 17th of August for COVID-19. 8,99,864 samples were tested yesterday, according to ICMR. Focused implementation of center-led strategies has ensured prompt identification, timely isolation and effective clinical treatment, leading to reduced case fatality rate. According to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, 30 states or union territories performed better than the national average. Recovered patients are more than 19.7 lakhs, which is 2.93 times the active cases, according to Rajesh Bhushan, who is the secretary with the Union Health Ministry. The National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration yesterday met leading domestic vaccine manufacturers. It provided the National Expert Group with inputs about the present stage of various candidate vaccines being developed by the indigenous manufacturers, as well as their expectations from the Union government. The Supreme Court today refused to direct the centre to transfer the contributions made to the PM CARES Fund for battling the COVID-19 pandemic to the National Disaster Response Fund. A bench headed by Justice Ashok Bhushan said that voluntary contribution can always be made to the NDRF, as there is no statutory bar under the Disaster Management Act. The judgment came on a PIL filed by NGO Centre for Public Interest Litigation, seeking a direction that all the money collected under the PM CARES Fund for the COVID-19 pandemic should be transferred to the NDRF. BJP President JP Nadda described the Supreme Court's decision on the PM CARES Fund as a resounding blow to the nefarious designs of Rahul Gandhi and his band of rent-a-cause activists. JP Nadda tweeted saying, "It shows that the truth shines despite the ill intent and malicious efforts of the Congress party and its associates." JP Nadda also said that Rahul Gandhi's rants have been repeatedly dismissed by the common man, who has overwhelmingly contributed to PM CARES, with the highest court also pronouncing its verdict. Will Rahul and his rent-a-cause activist army mend their ways or embarrass themselves further? JP Nadda tweeted that the Gandhi family treated PMNRF as its personal fiefdom for decades and brazenly transferred citizens' hard-earned money from PMNRF to the family trusts. The country very well knows that the orchestrated smear campaign against PM CARES is an attempt by the Congress to wash its sins. Senior BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad slammed Congress leader Rahul Gandhi for questioning the functioning of PM CARES Fund. He said that Modi government had worked with honesty and that same honesty is visible in PM CARES Fund. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu announced the Atal ranking of institutions on innovation achievements 2020 and ARIA prizes in 6 categories through video conferencing today. ARIA is an initiative of the Ministry of Education to systematically rank higher educational institutions and universities in India on indicators related to innovation, startup and entrepreneurship development amongst students and faculty. Vice President lauded the efforts and said that innovation is the key defining feature of human progress. He said educational institutions should reinvent to ensure that innovation thrives. BP further said that the new national education policy has a sharp focus on this aspect. President Ramnath Kovind has appointed Satyapal Malik, the present Governor of Goa, as the Governor for Meghalaya, and Governor of Maharashtra Bhagat Singh Koshyari has been asked to discharge the functions of Goa Governor in addition to his own duties. Union Minister Harshvardhan distributed AIDS assistive devices to Divyangjans at a function organized by Artificial Limbs Manufacturing Corporation of India at Social Justice Centre in New Delhi. 58 motorized tricycles were distributed to Divyangjans under the ADIP scheme of Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities. Union Minister expressed happiness that despite the corona epidemic, the social empowerment camp was organized. Union Minister Dr. Harshvardhan added that such camps will continue to run with the collaboration of Social Welfare, MP Fund and other voluntary organizations. Jammu and Kashmir's Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has asked officials to ensure that adequate medical facilities are made available at all health centres with special focus on primary and community centres across the Union Territory. Jammu and Kashmir's Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has directed that all district hospitals should have dialysis facilities and called for the recruitment of specialists in these hospitals, including cardiologists and radiologists. The condition of former President PRANAB Mukherjee continues to be critical and he is on ventilator support, according to the Army's Research and Referral Hospital. There is no improvement in the flood situation in Bihar despite the scanty rainfall in catchments of rivers. According to the Disaster Management Department, a population of over 81 lakhs spread over 1,311 panchayats and 130 blocks of 16 districts is reeling under intense floods. 10 relief camps are being run in flood-affected areas, of which 9 are in Samastipur and 1 in Khagaria. Apart from this, cooked food is being provided to more than 5,30,000 people through 653 community kitchens. The river Ganga has crossed the danger mark in Patna, where it is flowing 2 centimeters above the danger mark. Bagmati is above the danger mark in Khatonja, Hayaghat and Benibad. The river Budi Gandak in Samastipur, Rozara and Khagaria are flowing above the danger mark. Rest of the rivers, including Mahananda and its tributaries, have gone below the danger mark and have adopted the receding trend. The Meteorological Department has predicted light to moderate rainfall in Bihar for next 2 days. In Uttar Pradesh, 788 villages in 15 districts have been affected due to floods. The districts hit by the deluge include Ayodhya, Azamgarh, Barabanki, Basti, Gorakhpur, Sant Kabir Nagar and Sitapur. Sharda River in Lakhimpur and Saryu and Ghagra River in Barabanki are flowing above the danger mark. 22 teams of NDRF, SDRF and PSC have been deployed in the affected districts for search and rescue operations. In Badaयूं, District Magistrate Prashant Kumar visited the village on the banks of the Ganges and Ramganga rivers, which were affected due to heavy rains. A fresh spell of rains drenched the national capital on Monday, resulting in waterlogging in some parts, with the weatherman predicting increase in intensity of showers over the next 2 days. Met Department has issued orange alert for today and tomorrow. According to the civic bodies, waterlogging was reported in Kalkaji, New Friends Colony in Southeast Delhi, Madhu Vihar in West Delhi and parts of North and Northeast Delhi. Border Roads Organization has constructed a 180 feet Bailey Bridge in Jol GB sector of Pithoragarh district, Uttarakhand in less than 3 weeks despite frequent landslides and heavy rains. The connectivity will bring relief to about 15,000 people in 20 villages. The constructed bridge has resumed road communication of 66 kilometers road starting from Jol GB to Munsiari. The bridge will provide essential support in rehabilitating the villages. In view of the COVID-19 situation, Punjab government has decided to impose additional restrictions in Jalandhar, Ludhiana and Patiala from the 18th of August till further orders. Movement of individuals for non-essential activities to remain prohibited between 9 p.m. to 5 p.m. a.m. in fact in Jalandhar, Ludhiana and Patiala from 18th August. Equity benchmark SENSEX rallied 478 points on Tuesday, driven by gains in index majors Reliance Industries, HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank amid positive cues from global markets and sustained foreign fund inflows. The BSE SENSEX ended 477.54 points or 1.26% higher at 38,528.32. NSE Nifty surged 138.25 points or 1.23% to 11,385.35. Ultratech Cement was the top gainer in the Sensex pack, rising over 3%, followed by Kotak Bank, ICICI Bank, Asian Paints and Tata Steel. The rupee settled 12 paise higher at 74.76 against the US dollar on Tuesday, as heavy buying in domestic equities and weak American currency strengthened investor sentiments. Gold prices jumped 1,182 rupees to 54,856 rupees per 10 grams on Tuesday in the national capital, following a rally in international prices of the yellow metal, according to HDFC Securities. In the previous trade, gold had closed at 53,674 rupees per 10 grams. Silver prices on Tuesday rose by 1,845 to 71,000 rupees per kg in futures trade as participants widened their bets on firm spot demand. On the multi-commodity exchange, silver contracts for September gained 1,845 rupees or 2.67% to 71,000 rupees per kg in 10,432 lots. The US is placing further restrictions on Huawei technologies in a bid to limit the company's access to electronic components. The new rules prohibit non-US companies from selling any chips made using US technology to Huawei without a special license. Over 2.2 crore coronavirus cases have been registered globally, with more than 7.77 lakh deaths related to COVID-19. Over 2.2 crore COVID cases registered globally, and as many as 1.47 crore people have recovered from the virus so far globally. COVID-19 cases have been shooting up in the US, making it the worst hit by the pandemic for several weeks now. The US has over 56.12 lakh cases of the virus, with a death toll past 1.73 lakh. The US is followed by Brazil, which has recorded more than 1.08 lakh deaths and over 33.63 lakh cases. In terms of the COVID-19 death toll worldwide, US and Brazil are followed by Mexico with a death toll of 57,023. In US, new COVID-19 cases declined for a fourth week in a row. Cases are falling in most states except for Hawaii, South Dakota and Illinois, while Arizona, Florida and Mississippi remain worst affected states across the US. In New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo said that the state's gyms could open on 24th of August with 33% capacity with strict health measures. Brazil has reported more than 9,300 new cases of novel coronavirus and over 684 deaths from the virus in the last 24 hours. Spain has reported at least 1,833 new coronavirus cases in the past 24 hours, which is below the last week's record high daily infection cases. It has registered a total number of 3,82,142 COVID-19 cases, and death toll stands at 28,646. Spain has been struggling to contain the infection rate after lifting of lockdown restrictions in June, despite mandatory mask and other restrictions. France is planning to make face masks compulsory in shared workplaces as the country struggles to stem a spike in coronavirus infections. The government is considering to propose mandatory face masks in all common indoor spaces such as offices, factories and conference rooms. After a sharp rise in COVID-19 cases in the two largest cities, Paris and Marseille, the government has declared them as high-risk zones where wearing of masks is mandatory outdoors. Britain has imposed a 14-day quarantine for people arriving from France. France's health ministry has reported over 3,000 new cases of coronavirus for 2 days in a row. However, the total cases in France crossed 219,000 with over 30,000 deaths. Brazil's Porto Velho city is battling fires that continue to plague the South American nation and threaten the world's largest rainforest, the Amazon. Smoke can be seen billowing from an area of the Amazon jungle in Rondônia state. The practice of clearing the land by burning the rainforest is common among farmers in Amazon. California's Death Valley recently witnessed highest ever temperature recorded in the world in a century. A thermometer at Death Valley's Furnace Creek in the Southern California desert has soared to 130 degrees Fahrenheit or 54.4 Celsius, the highest global temperature in more than a century. Protests in Belarus over presidential election continues with more workers joining the nationwide strike. A checkpoint of Syrian army near QAMISHLI, the Kurdish-held city, has been damaged. Local media reported that the damage has been caused due to a gunfire and an attack by US helicopters, which was heard after the US patrol was not allowed to pass. In Pakistan, at least 10 people were killed after their boat capsized at LAKH in THATA district of Sindh. Pakistan Navy divers and a Navy medical team assisted local administration in rescue and search operation. In Argentina, people dressed up as popular cartoon characters to bring joy to hundreds of children in Buenos Aires as the nation celebrated its Children's Day Sunday. Kids were gifted sweets and toys for this special day in Argentina. Volunteers hope that their initiative will bring some cheer amid the pandemic. In Palestinian territory on the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea, Gaza Strip, seaside cafes bearing names of dream travel destinations are the newest attractions, serving thousands living at Gaza Strip. People snack on fresh exotic food at the Maldive Gaza Cafe as waves crash below, making their simple outings a visual and spiritual delight. Activists rescued 2 critically endangered Bornean orangutans from captivity in Indonesia's Central Java province earlier this month, conservation group International Animal Rescue said. Both orangutans were suffering from malnutrition when they were rescued and sent to a rehabilitation center in West Kalimantan province. On arrival, the orangutans will be quarantined for 2 months and will undergo routine health checkups before conservationists can assess whether they are fit to return to the wild. Rohit Sharma is among the 4 athletes who have been recommended for India's highest sporting honour, the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award. Along with Rohit Sharma, Asian Games gold medalist Vinesh Phogat, table tennis champion Manika Batra and Paralympic gold medalist Mariyappan Thangavelu have been recommended for the Khel Ratna Awards. Former world boxing champion Laishram Sarita Devi have tested positive for COVID-19. One of the top women boxers in the country, Sarita is a 3-time world's medalist, a gold in 2006 and a bronze in 2005 and 2008. She is also a 5-time Asian Championship gold medalist and has been a member of the IBA's Athletes Commission. IPL franchisee Delhi Capitals named South African pacer Anrich Nortje as a replacement for England all-rounder Chris Wakees, who has pulled out ahead of the upcoming edition starting September 19 in the UAE. Dream 11 has won the title sponsorship bid of the 2020 edition of the IPL. Dream 11 has made a 3-year winning bid to back the IPL title rights. IPL will be played from the 18th of August to the 31st of December 2020. An advocate has approached the Bombay High Court challenging the decision of the Board of Control for Cricket in India to hold this year's IPL in UAE instead of India. In his petition, advocate Abhishek Lagu said that if the IPL is held outside India, it would cause huge economic and revenue loss to the country. Cricket South Africa President Chris Nanjiani, who was facing corruption charges, resigned from the post with the president serving for 7 years. Last year, his tenure was extended by 12 months. Pakistan head coach and chief selector Misbah-ul Haq has advised the country's cricket board to appoint Yunus Khan as the full-time batting coach. The Pakistan Cricket Board had appointed the 42-year-old former captain as the batting coach for the team's ongoing tour of England. The Caribbean Premier League 2020 will be the first major domestic T20 tournament that will be played since the novel coronavirus brought the sport to a standstill. Trinbago Knight Riders and Guyana Amazon Warriors will kick off the action at the stadium named after Windies legend Brian Lara in Trinidad today. Rain hit second test between England and Pakistan finished in a draw after more wet weather wiped out half of the fifth and final day at the AG's Bowl. After more than 4 hours were lost as ground staff mopped up following heavy early morning rain, England resumed their first innings on 7 for the loss of 1 wicket and moved to 110 for 4 before declaring after 38.1 overs were bowled in the day. BCCI shared a post to celebrate 12 years of Virat Kohli in which they congratulated the current India captain for the mark he has made in the world of cricket since making his international debut. In 2008, Virat Kohli led Indian team defeated South Africa in the Under-19 World Cup final to win the trophy. Following the resignation of Chris Nanjani, Cricket South Africa has appointed Beresford Williams as acting president till the next AGM on the 5th of September. Acting Chief Executive Jacques Fall too walked away from his position following Nanjani's announcement. Inter Milan is back in a European final for the first time in a decade and the Italian team is playing like it's never been away. Inter Milan set up a final clash with Spain's Sevilla after securing a dominating 5-0 win over Shakhtar. The Washington football team named former NFL running back Jason Wright as its president, making him the first black person to be hired for such a role in National Football League history. Wright, who following his retirement in 2011 earned his MBA from the University of Chicago, will be responsible for leading the team's business divisions, including operations, finance, sales and marketing. Vincent Kompany announced his retirement from playing soccer to take over as full-time head coach of Anderlecht, and the 34-year-old had shared first-time duties with Frank Vercotteren and will be head coach for the next 4 seasons. British stunt rider Johnny Davies popped an extraordinary high chair wheelie stunt while going on an astonishing speed of 175.785 km per hour for at least 656 feet to set a new world record for the fastest high chair wheelie. Davies completed the feat in 2 days at North Yorkshire's Elvington Airfield during the Straightliners World Wheelie Records. The record was set under the auspices of the UK Timing Association, and organisers will be submitting Davies' run to Guinness World Records for ratification. Hockey India announced that it would provide a financial aid of 10,000 rupees to each of the 61 crore probable athletes not holding employment amidst the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. With sports activities across India slowly opening up post the nationwide lockdown, the Hockey India Executive Board announced its immediate support to 61 athletes, 30 junior women, 26 junior men, 4 senior women and 1 senior from the men's core probables. VINESH Phogat, the only Indian woman wrestler to have qualified for Tokyo Olympics, has pulled out of the national camp, citing health safety concerns amid the COVID-19 pandemic, a decision which has irked the National Federation. The rescheduled national camp for Olympic weight category wrestlers is set to begin from the 1st of September in Lucknow for women and in Sonipat for men. In Prague Open, Sumit Nagal advances to pre-quarters after opponent Jay Clark retires hurt. Nagal, ranked 127 in the world, was leading 6-3, 5-7, 4-1 when Clark decided to call it quits in the second round match after playing for over 2 hours. That's it then in this edition of Express News. News and updates will continue on DD India and TD News.